You are listening to Visionaries Wrestling Network, providing your perfect podcast experience.
Okay, this is the Nova Pro Z4 review of You Only Move Twice, which is from Friday, May 6th, 2016. And we actually watched this on October 21st, 2019. And they were recording this October 23rd. Now, one of the reasons we're doing this, Mason, is we haven't been to an event in 2 weeks. We've kind of run out of events. We're not sure what's going to happen this weekend, because I know you have a big baseball tournament. We would love to try and get to EWA. Even if we do, and that might be a future review, when are we going to record it? That's Friday. You're away all weekend. So I don't know. So this hopefully will be able to be coming out on Monday. So we realised, luckily I realised on Monday, hey, we can start watching this now. We watched it over 2 days, and then we're recording on the third day, and then I got a little bit of time I can edit, possibly when you're at one of your baseball games. Now, actually, Cage Match actually had this wrong. It listed it as You Only Live Twice. IWTV lists it as You Only Move Twice. I'm going to guess you might not even recognise that reference. As soon as I saw You Only Move Twice, I knew the reference was to You Only Live Twice, but I don't think you even recognised that yet. I know it's something that you talked about. You nearly read a book for this the other day, actually. It's a James Bond film. Oh. And the actual picture has Sonjay Dutt dressed up as a tuxedo, because he's supposed to be like a spy or something, and there's often casinos and things like that in those types of films. Commentary was from Kevin Ford. Now, where was this one from, Mason? It actually said it was Fairfax. I said it was the JCC, but you said you didn't think it was JCC. Because JCC is Annandale, right?
Yeah.
I looked. It was JCC. I saved that from you though. Wrong. It was the JCC. They put the they had a tent over where they come in. That was where the regular entrance was.
Oh yeah.
So some people were actually walking in through the entrance where the wrestlers normally come through. Although I saw one wrestler walk out and fans walk by the side of the tent at the same time. But no, it was actually the JCC. But it did look kind of different with the basketball hoop and things like that. But it was from the JCC. Let's see what else I got here. I think that's about it for the start. Obviously, we didn't go to this one, because normally we talk about pre-show and stuff, right? I got to tell you straight away, I was actually really excited when I was like, great, we can do a Nova Pro review. That first hour we watched it absolutely flew by for me. The only annoying thing is, IWTV, when we use Google Cast, every 15 minutes it stops. I've told them before it does that, and they keep going, oh, let us know about it. I let them know, and it still didn't get anything to happen about it, but I still have that problem. All right, match one. Timmy Retton versus Frankie Pikard. Two people we've seen before. I started looking at this one. Do you recognise the name Retton, and particularly Lou Retton? Does that mean anything to you?
No.
There's a very famous gymnast, an American gymnast, who I didn't know when I moved across, whose name is Mary Lou Retton. I started looking up Timmy Lou Retton. I thought we'd talked about him before, but I found out way more about him than I ever knew before. He's an Olympic gymnast.
Oh.
I had no idea about that. So that's where he partially gets the name from, okay? So Mary Lou Retton was an Olympic gymnast. And actually, he said that he was an Olympic gymnast champion himself, it says on his website. It says the event was held in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and they mentioned it on prowrestling.fandom.com. And one of his signature moves is called Going for Gold. And he also has the shoot, it's like a shooting star neck break. He kind of does look like Kurt Angle, like he's got the American flag on everything. And I saw a picture of him wearing a medal. I'd never made that connection. I had no idea that he was certainly an Olympian. It says also from his website, the unbridled power of America's greatest runner, Carl Lewis, that's where the Lou comes from, combined with the astounding grace and determination of Mary Lou Retton, gives you Timmy Lou Retton, professional wrestling's only male gymnast. Timmy Lou had ardently pursued his dreams outside of the USA in Rio de Janeiro. After numerous years of dominating and winning a total of 30 championships in all forms of men's gymnastics, the excellence of elegance shifted gears to pursue his dream of dominating the world of professional wrestling.
So that explains the couple of cartwheels he did.
It does, and I didn't piece it together at all at the time, and I feel kind of dumb now afterwards, not even realising that. Now, we got another track we can add to our indie playlist. I recognise Timmy Lou Retton's music as it came out. It's called Let's Go All the Way, which is by Sly Fox from 1986. If you haven't heard of it, I'm not surprised. It's a very minor track that I used to have on an LP, and I used to love it. I have that song on my iPad. I like it, so I'm adding that one in as well. Just to keep our gaming listeners interested, Matt, this is just for you. The song's actually featured in the 2014 re-release of Grand Theft Auto 5 on the in-game non-stop pop radio station, as well as one of the game's trailers. Now, here's your little pop quiz, Mason. Which tag team is Timmy Lou Retton on?
What do you mean?
Which tag team is he in?
Lou Rettons?
No. Do you need a clue?
Yeah.
They were supposed to appear at a very recent Primetime Pro Wrestling event, but they didn't make it.
The Gymnasty Boys.
The Gymnasty Boys, correct. I would tell you more about the Gymnasty Boys, but they haven't posted anything on Twitter since February. All right, Mason, go ahead. Tell us about the match then.
So, Pikard wrestlers can't come out of the tent, and
Pikard wrestlers?
I meant like the wrestlers.
Oh, okay.
In my notes, I put Frankie, and then on the next line I put Pikard.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't have any.
I was waiting for you. This is a common theme on MGB now, for you blaming the cat because you were trying to write something and the cat got in the way and then she stopped you from writing properly. So it's not that this time. Okay. No. I'm sure that's coming later, though. Go ahead.
No, I actually didn't. But Tim Donst was on commentary, and Timmy Lou Retton does a flip holding Frankie's arm but in the rope, but Frankie lets go and Timmy falls on the floor during the middle of it, and then Frankie mocks him by doing the same thing on purpose. And neither one has a win for like the whole Nova Pro.
Okay, so they both came in undefeated. Both came in, I wasn't say undefeated. They both came in whatever the opposite of undefeated is.
Like the 2017 Browns or 2016.
There you go.
So Timmy gets thrown off the top whilst and then he screams like Tremor. And then Timmy...
I remember that moment, yeah.
Timmy wins with the moonsault.
And I mentioned that. I put a sweet moonsault for the win. Frankie Pikard, I noticed a little bit earlier than that, he flipped himself up like Orange Cassidy. Like he was on the ground and he suddenly flipped himself up, did a rake to the eyes, and you thought Frankie Pikard was going to win, but no. Timmy Lee Retton definitely deserved to win this. I actually wrote down at the time, nice cartwheel, right at the end. And I didn't even think anything of it at the time, but now we know his gymnastic back. That makes sense why it's the gym... Mason, I'm like the dumbest person ever. I'm writing the notes down here. I didn't even realise that's why it's the Gymnasty Boys. Gymnastics.
Yeah.
My gosh. How did I not piece that together at all?
I think it's also a play on like the
Nasty Boys.
Yeah.
It is. I didn't even pick up that gymnasty and gymnastics were together. Having even wrote down it was a gymnast. Oh my gosh. We should just quit this and go back and look at basic word order and things like that. Now... Interestingly, I got a little distracted in this match because I hadn't finished up on Facebook because you came down. I was like, all right, let's just get it started. You know how Facebook does this on this day feature?
Yeah.
Something came up from 2017. The question was, so I'm going to ask it you again. I asked it you 2 years ago. What is the only letter not featured in any state's name?
Oh, gosh. Oh, Z.
Arizona.
Oh,
And you said that last time as well.
I know it's not Y because of Wyoming.
There you go.
And X.
New Mexico.
Ah.
And you said that one as well 2 years ago. That's why I have some answers prepared for when you say some more letters.
I don't think... Is there one with a U?
Utah.
Ah.
Give me a lot of dead silence to edit out of this.
Okay, so... Wait, is it really a D? No, it's not a D.
North
Dakota. Yeah. Jeez, this is hard. A, B, C,
We're going to go through all letters one at a time.
Okay.
Perhaps we'll put it in the timestamp where you can skip to when we actually get back to the wrestling if you're not interested in this part.
I can't think of one that's C.
Colorado.
But, Colorado. C, D.
I knew this would be entertaining, which is why I didn't share it with you at the time.
I think there's a, there might be a E.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
We already have that.
F for...
Your lack of knowledge on states is hilarious. Florida.
Okay.
That's not even just having a letter. It could be anywhere. There's ones that start with F.
Georgia.
Okay, it doesn't have to start with a letter.
I
You
know,
understand
but
that? Okay,
H,
all right.
North Dakota.
North Dakota doesn't have an H in it.
Yes, it does.
Oh, for North
North.
part. Oh, I thought you meant in Dakota.
H-I, Indiana. J. Is it J?
I knew you were going to say J as your other one. That's the only other answer I have prepared. New Jersey.
Oh. Kentucky. L, Louisiana.
Uh-huh.
M, Mississippi.
Uh-huh.
N, Illinois.
Uh-huh.
O, Illinois.
Uh-huh. I thought you were going to say Ohio, but yeah,
P,
fine. That works.
Oh gosh. I know it's not P.
So, give me a state that has a P in it, then.
It is P.
Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Like a near. We've been to We drive to Pennsylvania.
Q, it's Q.
Q, I believe, is the correct answer. However, the amusing thing was, while you were trying to figure it out, you didn't get to Q. You said the answer was V because you couldn't think of a state that had a V in it.
Virginia.
And you forgot, as a 9-year-old, the very state that you live in, and it even begins with a V, which is why I thought it was so... Oh, this was even better 2 years later.
Oh, I just realized there's an X in Texas.
There is, yeah. I wonder what age I can ask Jay that question, but I think it's kind of an entertaining one. All right, let's move on to match 2.
What? I forgot the answer already. Q. Okay.
Q was it?
I need to remember because it's a person in Star Trek, so that should help.
I guess it is. That's a really weird name of remembering it, but I like that. So when you hear that question again, you're going to think of Star Trek. All right, match 2. Aaron Biggs versus Mecha Mercenary. Now, I didn't recognise Aaron Biggs, I have to say. So I looked him up to find out on Cage Match a little bit. And he was actually the CWF Mid-Atlantic Television Champion between the 29th of December 2018 and the 21st of... what's the 9th month? I'm missing that. September 2019. So he was actually champion for quite a long time there. That's like 10 months. Basically. So he lost that title only a month ago, so that's fairly recent. Before that, he was also tag team champion for nearly a year with...
Mecha Mercenary.
Mecha Mercenary. So they obviously know each other pretty well. I certainly didn't know that. Now, I'm kind of interested at CWF. I've heard people talk about it before. Obviously, I love going to North Carolina. I already looked it up, Mason. Aaron mainly wrestles for CWF. 4 hours and 16 minutes away. I think that's just about reachable for us, right? And on the way, Chapel Hill. So why is Chapel Hill important to me?
North Carolina plays
North Carolina. So I might look up, is there a North Carolina football game we can go to soon? So we could go and see that like at lunchtime, and then in the evening we could go and watch the wrestling, and then we could drive home. So I'm going to look to see if that actually happens. Now, one thing I noticed that was weird about this one is, no one said Buff Ref. Buff Ref was there. No, I'm so used to hearing now, Buff Ref. But not one person said anything at all, which I thought was really surprising. And they were tag teaming together. Oh, did I say versus? I'm sorry. I should have said Aaron Biggs with Mecha Mercenary. And they were fighting against the Dojo Fight Club, which was Dan O'Hare and Jeff Cannonball, who we've talked about multiple times before. So let's go straight to the match, Mason.
Oh, when is Tara Calloway gonna retire? The end of the year?
At the end of the year.
Okay.
I know she's appearing in Fredericksburg next month. And I don't think I can go to that one. I know I was like, you guys can't go because it's 21 plus, but I was like, I kind of want to go because Jordan Grace is going to be there as well. There's a lot of cool people going to be there. It's the same day as the one in Culpeper where Hornswoggle's going to be there. I think it's MCW. I'm not sure why MCW, Maryland Championship Wrestling, is performing in Virginia, but I know Jackson really wants to see Swoggle, so I think for that reason alone we'll probably go. Oh, I found one more that was kind of interesting that got announced today as well. VCW announced they're going to have a really big name appearing in December. They just announced who it was. Mick Foley. That's a really big name. First time he's ever been there. All right.
Well,
what about this match?
You've already met him.
I have. I got a picture with him.
I have like 4 autographs from him.
You got some autographs because I took that stuff.
Like
yeah.
one book from him too that's autographed.
Oh yeah.
And then like
Mr. Soccer.
Yeah, and then I had the Funko Pop.
Yep. Yeah, I don't need an autograph from him, but we've got a picture for you and Jackson together perhaps might be.
Oh, and I have that paper.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, the contract that doesn't mean anything, yeah. Perhaps we could go and perhaps remind him that we have a contract. I don't know. Depends how brave we feel. I think as a British person, I don't think I could do that. I think I'd be too embarrassed. But if you suddenly feel a little bit feisty, then perhaps you could do it. Perhaps it might be more difficult for you to an 11-year-old. So I don't know. Perhaps. Hey, do you remember this, Mick? Oh, by the way, we came for a photograph, Mick. Oh, by the way, what about this? Do you remember this? Okay, I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, talk about this match though first.
Jeff and Mecha were ex-tag team partners.
Huh?
And Mecha has the same batting gloves as I do on.
That's a great piece. So what are they? What are they? Tell us, because I don't even know what bag gloves you have.
The top half where your fingers are, they're like stripes.
Well, I mean, like, what brand is it? What color?
Under Armour.
Oh, Under Armour.
Red and black.
Oh, okay.
And then there's stripes on like a little below the fingers wear all the way up to the top with red and black on them, and then the bottom is black.
And I know we talked about gloves with John Kermon as well, because he said he doesn't wear it because you don't get such good grip. So I know some wrestlers do, but not every wrestler does.
So I actually use those gloves for disc golf now, because they hurt, because like it hurts my index finger a bit, because it scrapes it.
Yeah.
So, Mecha kicks out of a Jeff Cannonball. And the Sandwich Squad wins with a big chest press by Aaron.
Now, I asked you in the middle if you could remember, and you mentioned that it was a Sandwich Squad. And yeah, somebody came out and actually brought them the meatball sandwich. I think that's the first time we've ever seen that, right?
Yeah.
Now, I noticed a few other things from this. There was a big clothesline from Biggs. It reminded me of Benjamin Banks. You know, like the double clothesline? I get a really big clothesline. It reminded me of that. Kevin Ford said on commentary, Dan O'Hare is the smallest man in this match, which is very unusual. I meant to look up his weight and I forgot. But yeah, there were some big guys in the ring for this one. Jeff tried to suplex Aaron Biggs. There was a big cheer for that. He didn't quite manage to do it because Aaron Biggs is a really big guy. I think it said he's like 380, I think it was. So that would have been really difficult to do. I noticed one other thing as well in this one. There was no times listed on Cage Match, which is kind of unusual as well. And I wish I'd written them down, because I heard Brian say them on commentary. Or, not, sorry, on the mic afterwards, like, the winner is in however many minutes and how many seconds. But yeah, I couldn't find that information for this one. Okay, match 3 is the GFW Women's Title #1 Contenders match, featuring Amanda Rodriguez and Veda Scott. Now, we watched VCW's, I wish I could remember what it's called, something Peanut City 4 or something, last weekend on TV. And remember how Rhino was there?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they spelt it wrong. They put like with an I. And I was like, doesn't that spell Rhino with like a Y or something? And we wondered, is it copyright? Remember we thought that?
Yeah.
And so his WWE name is Rhino with a Y. And actually I looked it up and they said originally he was Rhino with an I. And then when he moved to WWE, he had to change his name. So someone said, well, just put a Y. And then once he left WWE, he's gone back to using the I again, as far as I can tell. I wonder if they did that with Amanda Rodriguez. Remember how they had those spelling mistakes? I'm like, they spelled her name wrong. They put an S instead of a Z. It wasn't. They spelled it correctly on this one. It was that. But I did wonder that for a second.
Maybe he got fired.
Could be, yeah, that's why they got it spelled right correct. Veda Scott was debuting in this one. Now, I actually looked. In her last 2 months, Mason, she has 18 matches. 16 of them have been in the UK. One was in Germany and one was in Denmark. So that might be why we've not seen much of Veda Scott recently. Clearly, she's on... she was on tour right now. And she did have one other match that I saw that was in August as well. Jody Threat versus Veda Scott at Smash Wrestling. I think we saw that. I know you started watching Smash Wrestling with me. I seem to remember seeing Veda Scott there. And you recognise Jody Threat now because of...
the skateboard?
Yeah, the skateboard. So I think we actually saw that. Now, there was one other thing I got for this one as well. Brian said on the microphone, the following match is scheduled for 1-4. And I immediately responded with 1-4. Not one person in the crowd said anything. I don't know when that started. As we watch future episodes, I'm going to be interested to see when people respond to that. But almost everyone responds to that. All right, Mason, what you got for this one?
I think Veda Scott she was with Ring of Honor.
Yes.
And so she probably did and she used to be like an announcer or something like that,
yes.
I think. And so that's when she might have wrestled in those places because I don't know.
What places?
Like UK and...
Oh, okay, I see. When she was touring,
I think so.
Some of the places were actually where... Franco wrestled.
Oh, yeah.
I saw she wrestled in Preston, and I know he talked about doing the tour there, and I know Jordan Grace was touring in that area as well at Preston, not at the same time. So I guess if you're going to fly to England, you want to have several matches. It's a long way just to go for one. Mm-hmm.
I remember Franco rode with Too Cold Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
And so Veda will shake Amanda's hand after Veda wins the match. And then,
so you don't have anything for the match at all?
No, I do.
Oh, okay.
That's what Veda says at the start.
Oh, okay. I know sometimes you've been very brief in some of your reviews. Like, you mentioned literally one sentence. I thought you were going to go back to character again. All right.
So then it's a Rings of Saturn submission by Veda and then a Boston Crab by Amanda. And then DDT to Veda Scott on the hardest part of the ring.
Mason's doing air quotes for the benefit of the podcast.
Veda starts arguing with the ref, and Amanda kicks Veda for the win. Then Amanda grabs Veda's hand for a half handshake.
Now, having said that, when I did the one fall, no one shouted one fall. When there was a kick out at 2, fans raised 2 fingers and went, 2! Kick out at 2. So they did take part in that part, which I thought was kind of interesting. So obviously there's a development going on here. Also, I noticed streamers were thrown after the match. I think of streamers as the people are walking into the ring. Now, you can do it at the end, but I always think of it as a start of the ring thing. But yeah, I noticed for this one, people were doing it more at the end than anything else. Okay, match 4 was Brandon Green and Donnie Dollars versus the tag team of Cutie and the Beast. We have another track, Mason. Not surprisingly for Brandon Money Green and Donnie Dollars, they had a song by Pink Floyd, which is Money. So I recognise that one straight away, so I've already added that to our playlist as well. We got some great songs. I love some of the indie music that they play on there. Now, also, this was kind of unusual. People wanted a high five from Bo. Now, a number of times we've been to Nova Pro. Normally it's like being booed or telling him to leave, or people wanted high fives from him. It was kind of weird to see because we're so used to seeing the opposite there. There was chance for We Don't Like You to Donnie Dollars and Brandon Green. Those guys were the heels in this one. It was kind of weird to see that transformation. I almost think of those as positive. It was almost like roles reversed in some ways. I did find some stuff for Donnie Dollars. He defeated Jordan Blade at Life is a Box of Chocolates in June 2017, which, as far as I can tell, is the first time... it was the last time he appeared at Nova Pro. Now, we're still a little away from that one. This is May 2016, so we've still got several matches before we get to that one, Mason. June 2017, I think, is only like 3 matches before we get to Nova Project 3, which is when we started to go, actually. However, the first match on the card caught my attention. Mr. Grimm, who we've seen a couple of times recently, versus Dante Bishop. I don't recognise that name as much. Graham Bell. We certainly know Graham Bell. Ivan Ali. That was a surprising one. We'll have to get Jay down for that. I know Jay's a big fan of Ivan Ali. Thick Vic, who I don't recognise. Where's Rogers?
I remember Thick Vic.
Oh, you remember him? Where's Rogers, though? I was
think.
surprised. I thought, because he came in some of the later matches, so I didn't know. Where's Rogers actually made his debut for Nova Pro, as far as I can tell. He might have had an early match. June 2017. So I don't know if he was safety first, Where's Rogers, at that point. I wonder if... That made me wonder. Remember I asked the question, like, to Tim Donst, was he aware of Where's Rogers? And I think they said they weren't aware, but then they started talking to each other about it. Where's Rogers was at Nova Pro in June 2017. Safety First didn't exist at that point. Oh, did Tim Don steal it from Where's Rogers? It might have been the other way round. I don't know. We got some conspiracy theories going here. But Where's Rogers was certainly at Nova Pro before Tim Donst became Safety First. So I don't know. There's some interesting ones for that one. I did see one other match I wrote down on here as well. This is from... I can't tell exactly because I can't sure if this is the English date or the American date. The cage side, I think it's German, so I'm not quite sure if I switched it in my head. Probably around August time, 2017. Crab Tag Team title, 3-on-2 handicap. Capital Vices, Money and Sin, who certainly wrestle at Crab Wrestling as well now, defeat Fuller's House, who was Donnie Dollars, Ivan, and Obsidian. And that was in Ridge, Maryland. We went there as well.
I remember Obsidian. Yeah,
so I thought that was an interesting one. So Donnie Dollars obviously knows those guys as well. He's obviously worked with Brandon Green before, obviously in Crab Wrestling. So there was that connection there. All right, talk to us about the match, Mason.
I think Heel Cat would like Obsidian.
Why do you think Heel Cat would like Obsidian?
Because don't cats like snakes and like chasing them?
Oh, is that what his character? I can't remember. I don't remember Obsidian.
He's a snake.
Oh,
that would be
was?
A good match.
Oh.
Alley Cat versus Alley Cat and
Jake the Snake.
No.
Versus Obsidian.
No, Alley Cat and Officer Magnum versus Coco Beware and Obsidian.
You already talked about this in the last podcast. You already talked about you wanted animals together. You can't remember what you even said. All right, talk to us about the match.
So Bo and Isaiah and Cutie and the Beast, but Isaiah jumps on Donnie Dollar's back, but Donnie doesn't even bend down a little bit and stay straight up. And Money makes Donnie do all the work, and then Money Green just tags in for the pin. And Money went for the money shot, but Donnie tagged Money Green in, and then Money Green just left, and Isaiah and Bo wins with a bow, spear, and Isaiah dive off the top rope.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
No.
All right, I got something from the start. There was chants from the crowd of take it off. They wanted Bo to take his shirt off because he kept it on and they didn't. So I had that one down. And Isaiah actually helped him out a little bit doing that. At the end of the match, they actually played another song we could put on our playlist, Mason. They had Time of My Life, which is from the Dirty Dancing film. They actually, remember Bo lift Isaiah up on his hands? That was from the Dirty Dancing film. Another movie reference from the 80s or 90s that I knew you wouldn't recognize. And I actually asked Bo as well. I said, was that the first time you ever did that? Because I don't remember ever seeing that before. He said he'd done it before, but it was the first time they'd ever done it with music. So we're getting a lot of film references here, and we're also getting a lot of things we can add to our playlist.
Probably the only old movie reference I would understand is, have you ever danced with the devil by the moonlight or something like that?
I don't know if I've ever heard that in wrestling, but yeah, I know you're starting to watch the Batman films now, so yeah. All right, now, actually, Bo's injured. 2 days after we started watching this, he announced on Saturday on Facebook that he was injured. I asked Bo if I could mention the whole quote because it was really kind of poignant. So the whole quote starts, quote, "So this is not a post I wanted to make this morning. I'm not going to be able to compete. Due to some accumulated injuries and pushing through them as if they weren't there, I'm going to have to take some time off from in-ring competition. While I do not make this decision with a smile on my face, it's what is best if I am to continue to be able to entertain the fans as well as maintain the quality and high-level performance you and I expect. I do not currently have a timetable for my in-ring return. Most importantly, though, this is not permanent. I will be back in the ring as soon as I am able. That's a promise. I'm sorry to anyone I've let down, especially the fans. But in my absence, there is one thing you can bet on. The hashtag hardest worker in the room energy will be put to my recovery and being 100% ready when the time comes. I love you all, and I'll see you soon." Now, I actually mentioned in the response, I'm like, there's no way you let down the fans at all. If you're injured, we totally understand you need to take time off, and we want to see you back fit. We don't want to see you injured or anything like that. And he also mentioned as well, there's the new organization in Richmond coming up starting next month, UEW, I believe it is. Obviously now him and Jake won't be able to fight together. And there was a tweet about that this week as well. The replacement team, Simply Safe-ish going to be there. The replacement team, Golden Pinky Society. So we would have been happy either way. If it would have been Jake and Bo versus Simply Safe-ish, we like both those teams anyway. Simply Safe-ish and Golden Pinky Society, I think we're okay with that as well. I'm not sure if it's a tournament or if it's just a straight one-on-one to get to the tag team titles. It said they would have to get through the Golden Pinky Society to win. So I'm not sure if that's like an earlier round match or if that's like the final straight away, but I guess we'll find out pretty soon.
I thought it would be like that Paul one person, like the really tall
he could
guy.
step in, yeah. I can't remember his name either, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Paul Orndorff or something?
No, that's a WWE wrestler. Paul Jordan, I think it is. Yeah, Jordan, thank you. Yeah, they could go together. Or you could have an intergender one. Erica Lee could come in as well. I know she's been ringside for that team as well. Also, from 2 days earlier, I wrote down on here, October 19th, Donald J. Bitdon and Nick Richards defeat Aaron Biggs and Kane Justice for the CWF Mid-Atlantic match. And it was at the event called The Fright Stuff. Donald J. Bitdon is actually Donnie Dollars. I wonder if they spelt that wrong. I wonder if it's supposed to be with a money theme. Have you heard of Bitcoin?
No.
It's like a fantasy coin thing. It's really dodgy, but I wondered if he's supposed to be Donald J. Bitcoin, but it says Donald J. Bitdon on Cage Match anyway. Notice who he's fighting. Aaron Biggs. That was from an earlier match. So it's interesting when I kind of look up who they've been fighting recently. Obviously, a lot of these wrestlers know each other really well. One of the wrestlers I talked about while I was looking on here has 700 matches already in like a 10-year career. So I guess when you've had that many matches, you do get to have those connections with people and you know them much better. Okay, match 5. Woof, this was a big one. When we first looked at the matches and I was like, wow. Bobby Shields versus PWI Ultra J title match, Cedric Alexander. Now, while this has been going on, we were looking around, I was like, I don't recognize anyone on the front row at all. I didn't recognize anybody at all. We recognize people in the back, like Brian, Mike, people like that. We saw Frank. That's his name, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's Frank. We definitely recognize. We knew who it was. When I said Frank, you knew who I was talking about, though.
I want to call Frank Scott, though.
I didn't see Scott
I
there.
remember... I know I get the two names mixed up, but I know which one is which.
Okay.
It's just the names.
Also, it said on the commentary, Bobby Shields was undefeated at this point, so if he could get a win, that would obviously keep him undefeated at this, but also it would be a major scalp against somebody like Cedric Alexander. Now, I was confused on this one. I thought this was main event worthy when I saw the names. And in the previous event, Ethan Case fought it, and it was the not Ethan Chase, as you tried to tell me. Or perhaps it was Ethan Chase. I don't know. Remember you mixed me up?
Ethan Cross.
No, that's somebody totally different. You told me a wrong name on one of these. Yeah, that was the main event. I'm not sure why this one wasn't, actually.
I think I know why. Because Sonjay Dutt, you know how he does his big speech?
That makes sense.
I don't think that would be... I think it would
But Sonjay
be better
Dutt fought in the previous one, though, as well.
Yeah.
Or was that for the PWI title?
That was
Oh, that might have been why. And Logan
against
interfered.
Logan. No, I think that was against Logan.
Oh, okay. I don't know. All right, talk to us about this match, then.
So Cedric, he fought Bobby in a Ring of Honor pre-show before, and then 3 months later, Cedric Alexander got a Ring of Honor contract, and Bobby thinks that he has a big grudge against Cedric because he thinks that he stole his Ring of Honor contract.
Mm-hmm.
And Cedric went from a big face to a heel in the match. And so there's Bobby, he does a missile drop kick, then a suicide dive to Cedric. And Veda Scott, she throws the brass knuckles in the ring, which distracts Bobby whether to hit him with it or not. Then Cedric hits the lumbar check for the retain, and then Bobby, he goes back into the back area, and then
Camera followed him.
Yeah, and then he said that he's mad because he listened to the fans, and I think that's where he goes heel.
Yeah, so he was definitely a face for this one, and I got a lot of those things that you got. I got one extra thing I mentioned. There was a great reaction from the ref when Cedric chopped Bobby. There was a really loud chop, and the referee's reaction would totally help sell it much more than just the chop itself, which I thought was good. I put it was a great lumbar check as well. Obviously, we see him on WWE now do that, but it looked fantastic to have it that close there. I thought that was interesting, the camera following the person backstage. I don't think I've ever seen that before on Nova Pro. Normally, it just kind of cuts out as they walk through the curtain. I like that, actually. Have a little bit of backstage there. And you can see it was tormenting Bobby that he sort of been like, man, I could have just used the brass knuckles and I could have won this one. This could have been my big chance. I thought that was a nice little bit of added drama to this one.
They do that in WWE, but
yeah, they do. Now, something I hadn't noticed before, and this had to be pointed out to me, and I'd never noticed it, and I don't think you've actually watched the ones with me. AEW doesn't do anything backstage.
You know?
I'd never even thought about it. Remember how Tony Schiavone was always interviewing on the stage itself?
Oh, yeah.
The main idea, apparently, Tony Khan says that he wants everything to be focused on the ring itself. So any interviews are always held on the stage, which is right next to the wrestling ring. I never even noticed that before. But yeah, so obviously he's trying to separate himself from WWE, because WWE, like you said, does that all the time. Until that was pointed out to me, I had not noticed that they do backstage things.
Is that the owner, like the Jaguars owner?
Yes, Tony Khan is the owner, yes. But I thought that was an interesting fact. Okay, let's have a look then. So obviously Cedric's a big star now. His first WWE match was actually a cruiserweight match in the Cruiserweight Classic, June 23rd, 2016. That's less than 2 months later. Add on another couple of months, add on 3 more months to that, and he's actually appearing on NXT. September 15th, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, first round match, The Revival versus Andrade Almas and Cedric Alexander.
Oh.
Obviously, he doesn't go by Andrade Almas anymore either.
Andrade Cien Almas. Oh,
it just goes by Andrade.
I know what Cien means in Spanish. It means 100.
Oh, okay. And is that the same spelling? I guess so.
I think so.
Okay.
Because in PE we had this Spanish speaking. Well, in 5th grade we had this Spanish speaking PE teacher, and we used to count in Spanish for the stretches.
You had to do 100 stretches?
No, we count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, or we would count 1 to 20.
Okay. Alright, match 6 is the IWA Mid-South Heavyweight title match between Big Sean Studd and Reed Bentley. Alright, Mason, talk us through this one.
So there's a huge pop for Big Sean Studd, and Big Sean Studd was trained by Booker T, and Reed retains with a low blow.
I got the crowd pops for Sean Studd, particularly as he slams Reed into a post. He power slams him onto a hard floor. There's no protection there at all. The crowd was going crazy for Sean Studd. Now, we never saw him at Nova Pro at all. We saw him at VCW, so I don't know. From that reaction, I'm kind of surprised that he wasn't more of a recurring character. Perhaps he was on the future events that we'll watch, and we'll find out. Now, I actually put on here Mason playing with the cat. I thought you weren't going to tell us very much at all. You were bugging the cat instead of watching the match, and I'm going to be like, here we go. This is going to be one of Mason's reviews that's like 2 lines long, which pretty much was. And then you're going to blame the cat, saying like the cat was sat on your pen or whatever it was. But all right, you had a little something.
I was trying to find one of the other pens that didn't work for her because she kept trying to get my pen, and so I got one of the pens that didn't work for her.
Now, if we had a little bit longer, I would have looked up Reed Bentley, because that was somebody who I didn't know. But because of our time and issues this week, we're going to just continue on with the rest of the matches, okay? All right, match 7, Brandon Day versus Tim Donst. Now, one thing I noticed about this, I didn't notice earlier, Brian's actually doing the announcing from the back. He's not actually doing it from the ring, because he's normally a ring announcer, right?
Yeah.
And I suddenly realised he wasn't. He was stood at the back. And there was one when he was stood right to the side of the ring, which I think was actually the very last match. So what's his title then? He's obviously not a ring announcer, because he's not in the ring. Just an announcer? I don't know. I wonder why they did that. That's kind of strange. Wouldn't you think you'd want... If you think of all the big matches, like the announcers, like... Actually, announcers not always in the ring. WWE doesn't always do that either. Particularly when, like, Shane McMahon, when he was the greatest in the world and he wanted the person to announce that, he was on the outside of the ring. Okay, I guess it's not that unusual then. Brandon Day came out bringing out chains. We saw that Tim Donst had his Wrestle Donst Wrestle shirt on. And you noticed as well, he was introduced as Tim Freaking Donst for this one. Obviously, this was way before Safety Donst. Before Safety First, Tim Donst. I'm going to mention one thing at the start, and I'm going to let you hand it over. Tim Donst offered his hand, and Brandon kicked it away right at the start, which I really liked, actually. What a great way to show that you're a heel instantly. I thought that was good. All right, tell us about this one, then.
So, there's 2 suicide dives in a row, and then I realized there's no Safety First, and then there's no Donst 002.
Yeah, we saw that. That was 2017. Yeah, the 2-second match. Yeah, because that was his thing before. I think Wrestle Donst Wrestle. Isn't that like Kevin Owens' shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know they fight together in AIW, and I know they're good friends as well. Because I remember seeing, I think Tim Donst has like a video series on YouTube, and it's like Donst's Friends or something. Or am I getting that mixed up with Ethan Page? Perhaps I'm mixing that up with Ethan Page, actually. And yeah, I think I am, because I know they have that AIW connection as well. But yeah, I wonder who came up with that first, Kevin Owens or Tim Donst?
I think I know it used to be.
I think he saw it on Kevin Owens and then stole it, like he did with Reg Rogers' Identity.
It was like, I know it used to be Steen fight Steen.
It did.
And before that, I think Kevin Owens started wrestling when he was like 16. And he actually he found out that he only found one. He only knew one French wrestling website, and when he was doing computer lab stuff, when he was supposed to be doing like work and stuff, he looked at that, and then he ran into the office and called his mom to see if he could do it. And then he tried out, but you only needed to have the money to actually get in.
Yeah. Those wrestling schools can be a little expensive. All right, what else you got for this match?
So, Brandon Day kicks out of the Ace Crusher and the Super Kick, and Day wins with a DDT on the chains.
Now, it wouldn't be an episode of MGB if I didn't mention this. So I had that as well, the Ace Crusher. Doesn't that sound like that should be a finishing move to be done on Eric Royal? # Space Jam. I'm going to guess you're saying no to that one. I had to get that in there. Also, I got on here, Brandon Day actually got the chains removed by the ref, which was part of the distraction, which is how he managed to win this one. Okay, match 8, the main event then. So this is John Kermon and Sonjay Dutt versus Logan, Easton, Laroux, and The Reason. And we didn't have no idea who The Reason was. So luckily there was a link you could click on it. Hype Rockwell. We remember Hype Rockwell. He appeared, I think, at the last 2 Nova Pro events, and he might have featured in some other ones as well. Now, I did put on this one, Brian is actually ringside for announcements for this one, so I don't know why he's suddenly moving forward. Logan was wearing a headband. That looked really weird.
I think it was because that Hype...
It might have been.
Had
a
bandana.
I'm sure that was it, but it kind of looked strange for this one. I should have mentioned this is Hype Rockwell's debut for this one. Now, I did notice one other thing. I made fun of Matt recently, because he actually interviewed Logan probably a couple of months ago now, and he mentioned to me that he was going to interview Logan, Easton, Laroux. And I said, you might want to learn his name before you actually interview. Sorry, Laroux, he said. And I said, you might want to actually know how to pronounce his name before you actually interview him. And so anyway, he changed that. Then I listened to whatever the event is in West Virginia. And I always forget what that one's called. and they mentioned him as Logan, Easton, Laroux. And I was like, oh, Primal, thank you, Primal Conflict. And I was like, oh, did I get this wrong? And I was like, I don't think so. And I know for a fact I didn't get it wrong, because as Logan's cutting his promo, he announces, I'm Logan Easton Laroux, I'm leader of the 1%, and then he goes through his whole thing. So we know for sure now it is Logan Easton Laroux, and I feel a lot better about that. But it makes me wonder why some other people say that. Sonjay Dutt, when he referred to him later, said Laroux as well.
Kevin Ford.
Kevin Ford?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Sonjay. Now, I'm wondering, though, if it's one of those things. One of the joking names that we often say, and you've picked up on this from me now as well, what The Rock used to call a particular wrestler. Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Is they just saying that to wind him up? I'm wondering if they're doing it like that.
Why would you announce him as Laroux, trying to wind him up?
Because just to mess with him. That's what The Rock used to do with Chris Benoit. Like, I'm not going to call you by your proper name. Or if I'm calling you Messina, or if I'm calling... It's just to mess with you. It's just to put you on edge a little bit. I don't know.
I don't know if it's like the Pac thing.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I'm saying Pac for that. I think. What did they say on AEW? Pac. Yeah, they said Pac. I think it's Pac, but I don't know.
But they said X-Pac and X-Pac. And they said in Impact he changed his name.
Okay, and that might have been that reason. That similar thing with Rhino, like with a Y and an I.
Yeah.
Perhaps you got to change your name when you move from one to another. All right, talk us through this last match. I know we were very excited to see John Kermon and Sonjay Dutt together.
Logan Easton Laroux, I like the DDT complete shot combo by Sonjay Dutt, and then Logan does a double stomp. Then Hype does a cannonball, and then they try to do that later, and they went 0 for 2. And Logan does a suicide elbow to Brandon Day on him. I mean, I put Day. I forgot his name. Hype Rockwell on accident. And then
your notes make Hype Rockwell look like Brandon Day. You need to work on your penmanship there, I think.
No,
that's
I
not even
did
close.
actually put Day.
Oh, you just totally wrote down the wrong name.
I did actually put Day.
Oh, you just wrote down the wrong name by accident. Okay.
Yeah, it was Hype. I mean.
And
Hype does a deep 6, and Sonjay, he kicks out of it, and then Sonjay and John both get a submission on, but Day drops John on Sonjay, and Logan takes a fan's fake leg and hits him with it for the win.
I'm going to say prosthetic leg. Yeah. It's a real leg, but I know what you're saying for that one. Okay. I was laughing here because I'm like, he's not going to mention a prosthetic leg. I was like, how are you going to go through this whole match and not mention something that was so important? We saw that at another event. Yeah. I can't remember where it was, though. I was racking my brains for it, and I couldn't remember. Now, actually, at the end of this, we saw Ricky. We've seen Ricky before at Nova Pro, and he was there screaming at the Logan, I guess it was. But we thought that was kind of funny that he was getting all involved with it. Sonjay Dutt, could he be any better on the microphone? I think you're right. I think that's why they put him at the end, so he could do his talk. He went and talked to the guy as well, and said, like, what's your name? Have you served? Which obviously he had because he was a veteran. And he made some reference to, he thanked the veteran for his service so he can live his dream in the ring. Of course, that got a massive round. I was like, that's so cool. That's like really cool that he actually did that. I posted on Twitter and I wasn't expecting a response. I would wish I knew who that person was. I wish I knew who that veteran was. I would love to hear his side of the story. Like, how did that come about? Did he know ahead of time that was going to happen? What does he remember about that event? But I thought that was a really cool thing. As I was watching this, there was like 10 minutes left in the match, and the match finished. And I was like, what are they going to do for like the last 10 minutes? Sonjay Dutt. That's what's going to happen there. I thought it was great. They said they hadn't teamed together. John Kermon, Sonjay Dutt, they both wrestled for 15 years, it said at that point. Never wrestled together. I would love to see more of those two together. I thought they were absolutely brilliant. And I think you got everything that I got for this one. Yeah. No, I thought it was a great finish, and in the end, it was definitely worthy of main event status. And because of the way it finished, I think Sonjay Dutt's already challenged Logan Easton Laroux to a match in the next event. I think basically under any circumstances, he just made it clear, hey, I want to fight him. I don't care. Yeah, you can put it in a cell, you can do whatever you like. I just want to make sure I fight him. I think that does it for this one. Anything else you've got to add on to this one?
No.
All right, boom, done.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from them.
Goodbye.
music was Zigzag by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by